Galactic Standard Date. Year 11356. Day 95. Sol Standard Date. 4th of the 7th, 3267. Romanus cackled with glee as the spell finished. He could feel the shifting of stones and metals throughout the entire planet. Centuries! Whole fucking centuries! The power of our Lord is great indeed. Oh! He took a deep breath after his outburst, listening to the screaming cries of victory that his lessers cried to the veil itself. A manic expression took over his features as he raised his hands to the sky. With this we have tasted a fraction of Basilisk's power. Such a divine strength could only belong to our Lord, but we have been allowed a taste. We are truly blessed. Hallowed be the name of our Lord Basilisk. He closed his eyes and muttered his words of power. Glowing green energies brought him slowly into the air. We shall name this world after our Lord, in the hopes that he becomes our Lord's greatest servant. We shall name him Thanatos, and his name will be remembered forever. The crowd of high priests screamed in victory at their achievement, and began chanting, Thanatos! 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 Aegir jumped from the crowd and let the green energies bring him up to his father. Congratulations, father! With this we can even come out to the shadows, we can fight alongside God, he said, as he brought his father in for a hug. Romanus chuckled heartily as he returned the hug. Yes, my child, we should go to him straight away. I'm sure Thanatos wishes to meet the Great One. As he finished the sentence, the whole planet seemed to rumble in excitement. Romanus smiled as he seemed to view the entire room all at once. Thanatos?
My name is Thanatos. What is my purpose? I was created. I was born into this world to serve a great one. I must get answers so I can properly serve my purpose. They named me with the intent of achieving a likeness to their god. Am I to become a god? So many questions.
Romanus asked again, Thanatos?
They are asking for me.
The room rumbled once more. Romanus let himself fall to the ground as he put a hand on the floor. Thanatos, if you can hear me, give me that rumbling response again, twice in a row. The room rumbled, stopped, then rumbled once more. Romanus leaped up and thrust his fist in the air. Ha ha ha! Thanatos, I'm going to teach you how to use the powers of our Lord. While we are learning, I will have my son call him forth. You will have your audience with God. The room rumbled once more. This time Romanus thought he could feel a small amount of emotion from the response.
Excitement, trepidation, anxiety, and determination.
Romanus smiled with sheer happiness at the thought of teaching a veil-born planet magic. Aegis, come quickly. I will divine the Emperor's location. I need you to bring him here. Tell him everything about us if necessary. Just get him here. Please. Aegir nodded feverishly with a terrified expression on his face. It will be done, father. If I may, could I bring Atticus with me? He is not one of the sons, but I believe that he will help me greatly. Romanus nodded his assent, and then closed his eyes. Green energies that had been nothing but ambient lights began to glow brighter and move like a raging river. Hect ved maleficus, lecter tet lordra, ved mortia. Romanus gasped, and then the energies dimmed around him. He is on the 7th Rosary world already. He works far faster than I had even thought. I can see his imprints left everywhere he's been in the last day, and it is insane. He really will liberate the entire Rosary Alliance on his own. Go forth, my son. I will send you his coordinates. First you must retrieve your friend. Hurry, though. He may not even be anywhere near that planet soon. Aegis nodded and flew up to the chapel so that he could go through the rift gate back to their Earth location. Atticus was watching Basilisk tube videos while waiting for Aegis to come back from his dad's house. Man, I wonder if his dad's alright. He said it was an emergency, he said with a sigh, before closing Basilisk tube and staring out at the memorial garden. Atticus stared at the statue nearest the door. That's the only one that Lord Basilisk has ever looked at fondly. I wonder who that little girl is. Hey! Atticus jumped hard and turned around, leveling his spear at the intruder. Who? Aegis! How'd you get inside? I've been holding vigil at the doors for, 7 hours. Aegis just waved him off. No time to explain. We need to go to where Lord Basilisk is. We need to retrieve him for my father. Atticus's eyes widened in shock. Bro, you don't just retrieve the Emperor. Now I need double the explanation, he said, with a stern gaze and a raised eyebrow. Aegir just sighed and held out his hand. No, this should explain it well enough. Atticus gasped as his childhood friend's eyes started to glow green, and veil energies began to swell around him. Hectavad Maleficus, forma a riftus. A rift formed in front of Atticus, and he stared at Aegir slack-jawed. This whole time, you've been one of the cultists? He said, visibly shaking. Aegir blinked slowly before locking eyes with his terrified friends. Yes, the whole time. I was born this way, he said, as he shoved Atticus through the rift in the veil. Atticus landed hard on his ass as he stared around at the hellscape before his eyes. The twisted and malicious scenery itself seemed to want him dead, and he couldn't help the shiver that ran down his spine. All the while, Aegir just stood there, watching him with naught but sadness in his eyes. Atticus bit his tongue and stood up to walk with Aegir. He made sure to glare at Aegir as they walked without saying a word. Not even one. Awkward as hell. After a few minutes of walking, Aegir suddenly stopped and thrust his hands out into nothing. His fingertips seemingly dug into an invisible wall and disappeared. Then he started pulling his hands apart and opened a rift in an alien world. They opened the rift right in the middle of a massive crowd of Roseri. As soon as the rift had opened, the eyes of every Roseri had already been upon them. Aegir confidently stepped out into the waiting crowd and dragged Atticus along by the arm. As soon as they stepped out, they felt it. An oppressive feeling like death itself was hanging over you and watching. Atticus elbowed Aegir. I feel like we are being watched by the Emperor, Aegir, and not for a good reason. Where did you take us?
That's because you are.
The voice had boomed from above them. Atticus then looked up and saw the face of an angry god looming over him. Oh, fuck. Aegir stepped in front of Atticus. My lord, please harbour no ill will against Atticus. He is not one of us. I brought him here because you know the both of us. I have come with a request, and I've been authorized to tell you everything.
Basilisk leered at them disapprovingly. What cultist bullshit are you bringing my way now? It's obvious that yours is one who's sanctified death by veiled madness. How many?
Aegir was caught flat-footed. How many? How many what?
Basilisk growled and whispered, How many innocents did your cult sacrifice to get powers like yours? How many of you are there?
Atticus felt a lump form in his throat. This is the question that he had been too afraid to ask his old friend on their trip through the veil. Aegir dropped his gaze. Exactly 13,237 have succumbed to the veil and died on the spot. This is not sanctified. It was saddening. We have another 64,782 that have attained varying degrees of madness from the veil. We have them living in VR simulations so that they may live on without hurting themselves. We've always held out the hope that you would find a way to cure their madness.
Basilisk ground his teeth. How many powered humans? Based on the number of failures, less than 1,000, right?
Aegir shook his head. No, we figured out how to increase the rate of success. We have a total of 98,920 members in the Sons of the Veil, 7,333 of which are able to utilize the powers of the Veil to certain degrees. Only a few hundred of us can utilize it well enough to engage in combat at a level that would be worthy of the front lines.
Basilisk closed his eyes and rubbed his temples. What did you come here for? Why would you reveal yourselves knowing full well that the punishment for murderers is high?
Aegir shivered. We made a sentient planet. We need your guidance, Lord Basilisk. The Roseri present knelt and gasped reverently to both Basilisk and the other two. Amaranth popped her head over Basilisk's shoulders with a WTF look on her face, and Basilisk had a vacant stare. Of fucking course you did. It's magic. How much fucking hand-waving went into this one? Sweet Mary, mother of goddamn Jesus. Fuck it. I'll go meet this planet of yours. We are not done discussing punishment, however. Lead the way. Aegir bowed deeply before turning and opening another rift.